Hello, everyone, and welcome to Meticulous Talks on April 17th. Uh, my humblest apologies for the late start, totally on me, but I am Cursor Chords.
I'm Hifrock.
Yeah, for whatever reason, we've been off for 4 weeks. We had a lengthy departure, and for some reason, when I typed in the announcement post yesterday and said, 9:30 Pacific time, 12:30 Eastern, 12:30 Eastern is what stuck in my head, despite the fact that I'm on Central Time now and have been for the last like 4 months.
Ah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
So, but my fault. We're only about 15 minutes late. Uh, won't be too big of an issue. I hope.
Hopefully not.
Let me just go find the stream chat here.
Yeah. Time zones are bane of our existence.
I mean, it's true. It is actually true. Okay. Alrighty. So probably will be a relatively short stream today, as we have the Harmony results from OnlineCon 10 that happened 2 weeks ago, and then the recently announced diversity bans. But we already
Mhm.
talked a lot about the bans in our last stream, and there were no real changes. So I imagine probably not a whole lot to say about them.
Yeah, but I should still touch on them.
Absolutely, yeah. And yeah, as far as the tournament goes, there were only 5 entrants. So we may as well just cover all of them.
Yep.
Alrighty. So we'll start from let's go from the bottom to the top. So we'll start with Animoy's Tyrek Pink deck. Ready. Yes, and by the way, thank you, welcome everyone in chat. See you there, GP and Prism Light. Well as you, Rock. Thank you for placating everyone while I was gone.
Wasn't that much for work. I just
Yeah. So blue pink. There is one white card here as well. Well, one orange white card here as well that's never going to be played because it's supposed to be discarded and used from the discard pile.
Mhm. So the real question is Golden Parachute colorless?
Huh.
All right, I'm sorry.
I mean, well, clearly you think not, right? You're the
Nope.
guy. Yeah. But it's certainly one of the more colorless cards that exists in core right now.
I mean, true. Actually, if we were being pedantic, Golden Parachute is always colorless because resources don't have colors.
This is true. Well, not necessarily. It's only the imaginary friends from Absolute Discord can be resources with colors.
Yes, you can play makeover on them, sure.
Mhm.
Either way, I haven't seen a blue pink list in a while.
Mhm. See a lot of usual standout cards: Angel Wings and Spitfire and Wonderbolt's Wrap. Puts me
Mm-hmm.
in mind of a deck of old, but this has Tyrek as the main, so it's definitely not a fully aggressive list.
Yes, but I don't know, if you showed me the list without the main, I wouldn't really think the main would be Tyrek, I think.
Right. It does look pretty hot wings, I must say, yeah.
Yeah, the deck by itself still looks aggressive. There's BFF here, which is not an aggressive card, but the rest of the list is, I don't know, pretty aggressive.
Mm-hmm. Friendship Summons is looking for it's looking for Rainbow Dash probably, given that we only have the one of her.
Yeah.
I suppose you could
You could also find Pinkie Pie, yeah.
either of them, yeah.
You really need a dismiss. Or an entry. Works as an entry too.
Hmm. The cheese sandwich is definitely the interesting one that stands out to me.
Yeah. That's like the one card that would suggest that maybe the Tyrek is the main, because there aren't that many frightened effects in the deck itself. I think it's just Rutherford, Reign of
Rutherford,
Terror, and Spitfire.
Flash.
Oh yeah, he does frighten. That's like his thing. Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But then, yeah, other than that, it's the only one.
I completely forgot that Flash can frighten. Like in my mind, he always was Swift Agile. That's it.
I mean, the extra expense is significant. I mean,
Yeah,
if the card is Swift Agile, when you move this card, you may pay 2 to dismiss a friend. That's
yeah.
still,
That's. I mean, any friend, it's really good.
yeah.
Though there is a question, like sometimes not dismissing a friend is fine because like the opponent might find themselves often in a situation where if you frighten their friend, there's like no reason to unfrighten back. It's just not worth it.
Hmm.
So even though frightening is usually temporary, some of the time it's not because they will just never unfrighten it.
Right. And that's how the aggressive decks usually made it work, was that you were, well, the opponent didn't really have time to spend their AT to be unfrightening stuff because you were just going to win the game before then.
Mm-hmm.
And something similar, probably, here.
Yeah,
Oh, I totally forgot about Turk's Reign of Terror. That also frightens stuff.
yeah, yeah. I mentioned it. Like
Oh,
I
okay.
forgot about Flash. I
Sorry.
just saw free cards. But yeah, cool list. I like some blue pink.
It's true. Even Bluna. I mean, we see. Well, we'll see her later. But Smithers runs mono blue now, so it actually has been a little while since we saw blue pink.
Mm-hmm.
I just look. Yeah, that is the standard problem deck. Adds in 3.
Yeah.
Searching for. Oh, I guess you can look up Seabreeze's Flower with it. That's probably the best thing.
I mean, Pinkie Pie is pretty good.
Pinkie Pie
I
is
would
also
search
pretty
for
good.
Pinkie Pie.
Depends on what you
Rushed
need.
Makeover.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the point of the card, right?
That is the point. Yeah, exactly. Alrighty. Next up.
Yeah. Next list.
Next list is this is the combo deck.
I like this list. I've seen it being discussed in Discord, I think,
Okay.
or might have been somewhere else. Because of the main using Apple Vendor to like scroll through your deck is pretty good.
Yeah, she's been used for that purpose several times before. We have the pilot here in the chat. Right? Please feel free to clarify any misconceptions that TikTok or I might have. I thought once upon a time and wondered if, and this is actually, well, yeah, if Apple Vendor has been involved in the most different combos of any particular card over the course of the game.
Mm-hmm.
She's been involved in quite a few of them, and most of them
Yeah.
were like, I don't think any of them actually got banned.
No.
Okay, Vinyl, good point. Grand Pause, thank you.
It's like
That's
vinyl is in the main, right?
yeah.
Yeah, but like that doesn't count because that main was not only good in combo, right? It was good for everything.
One way of putting it, yeah.
It's like, oh, run vinyl. What deck are you playing? I am playing white, yellow. Run vinyl. You don't have pink, but still run vinyl.
I always have to remind myself what exactly Apple Vendor does.
I think you retire a friend, reveal 3 cards, put a friend into your hand, discard the rest. So
Right.
it's like for this deck, it's just like drawing 3 cards, really.
Oh wow, that is really good with this.
Yeah, because you don't. I mean, you don't want to discard your like living to laugh, right? You kind of want to draw it first.
Hmm.
But other than that, it's really good.
Well, yeah,
Like,
you play a Featherbangs, you discard your whole hand, you get a pile of Earth Pony tokens, then you just run your Earth Pony tokens to mill yourself out some more. Well,
yeah,
provided that you keep your Unity 15 around. But oh, but when you wait, a second. Oh,
when you
anyway,
what? That I
no, no,
think
no.
that's exactly how it works.
That's exactly how it works. Yeah.
And like I think, like I see the apple brown, and it looks like a weird card, but maybe it's for Unity because it's
Um.
like a pink friend.
Yeah. So how are you expecting to get to 15 Unity? You
Well,
have sorry,
other than Earth Pony tokens, there's Pink Apple Pie. Uh, um, that's it, I think.
right. Well, there's cheese having +1 for each Earth Pony. That's pretty good.
Yeah, but like in the engine, you're going to like remove your opponents, right? And you don't get more from doing the Apple vendor thing
Right.
because they're not
Well,
discarded from your hand.
presumably, like, yeah, at some point along the way, you draw into another Featherbangs, and then you make a whole bunch more Earth Pony tokens.
Yeah, yeah, I guess that's fair.
It feels like, well, perhaps, yeah, this is the kind of thing that if you maybe requires a little bit of thought and practice to know how to
Yeah,
pilot
it's
properly. And for what it's
like if you
worth,
have.
oh, sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
Well,
Okay.
I was just going to point out that it's if you want to get practice with it, do it fast because well, ban's coming later. Um,
Yeah, I think like that experience running this deck is not very useful anymore, is it? Or not gonna be useful in a month. But yeah, like GP points out, like you'll eventually find second feather banks and you can play it, and then you get double Earth Pony tokens.
right,
But like you still need to discard cards, or like at least like you can use Apple Vendor indefinitely. You need to keep track of how much Unity you will have.
right. Well, I mean, this honestly feels very much like it is an OTK style. Like you could probably pull this off all in one turn if you wanted to. Like
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
even at the maximum, like using Apple Vendor 15 times is your whole deck. You're never gonna have to do it that many because you're drawing other cards. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then GP points out, each retirement is 3 mills and a draw. So the next Featherbangs is going to hit even harder. Yeah, the math all
Yeah,
checks out.
yeah. If you do the math, then like if every retire removes 1 Earth Pony, but potentially adds like 2 or 3, right? Because you're going to have multiple feather banks. So I guess you're still net positive on Earth Ponies at the end of the day. Fair enough. A really cool list. I really
Hmm.
like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a really good like adaptation of the deck from core to harmony.
Well, oh yeah, it's Apple Vendor is the thing that you get from moving Harmony, which yeah.
Yes.
Okay, next.
Yeah.
Next is the deck I alluded to earlier. There's with Monoluna.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think this is the same deck that he brings to all the Harmony tournaments. Which, if it ain't broke, etc.
Oh, this has a yellow dilemma in it. I don't recall any mono blue having yellow dilemmas.
It's that is a fair point.
Smith says that Sanctuary Construction is also colorless.
It's I mean, yeah. It was something that I thought of when I first saw this deck on SimStream, that like in the modern meta, it feels like the yellow dilemmas are run more often by blue decks than by yellow decks.
I think that's because yellow has so many ways around troublemakers, and that's what yellow dilemmas are good at. Like, if you had Industrial Revolution still in core, I
Mhm.
think yellow decks would totally run that.
Uh,
Every single one of them.
yeah, I find it kind of hard to argue with that.
But blue, on the other hand, doesn't really have a lot of answers to troublemakers, right? That was kind of blue's weak point for a long time now. I think
Right.
maybe I'm wrong, but yes. So I think like yellow dilemmas totally work in blue decks, especially since now you can play them without the play requirements.
I was just thinking to myself, like, speaking of that, makes it kind of wonder why the new Spitfire isn't considered here. And I guess you don't have you have a lot of Pegasi, but you don't have any Pegasi tokens. It is a big cost to.
Yeah. I also suppose getting Unity 15 in this deck is no problem at all.
Yeah, yeah. Also, actually, you didn't argue with me calling this a mono blue deck by saying that there's aloe in here.
No, like that's my stance, right? I agree that this is a mono blue deck, but Aloe is not colorless.
Okay.
Hmm?
I mean, sure.
I think deck's colors are defined by
Okay.
requirements and
Fair enough.
not cards colors.
Okay. Yeah, I can see how that's not necessarily a contradiction.
Like, is Bugle's Continentals deck without a single friend white deck, pink deck, or white pink deck, or something else entirely?
You're talking about Mini Bell's big sister, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I would characterize it as white pink, I guess, probably.
Yeah, that's because that's what card requirements have there, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So I think decks are defined by the requirements they use, and cards colors are defined by either requirements or the color itself. So that is a yellow dilemma, but this is a mono blue deck.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I that makes a lot of sense when you think about it.
And Reanimator is orange white and not all of the colors that because of the tricorns. Either way,
Yeah. I mean, I would appreciate perhaps a blog post or an essay laying this all out at some point. Because honestly, it sounds useful. Like when I'm classifying decks or something like that. Anyway, but yes, great way to fill time on this deck, probably.
yeah, I
Because
mean it's a mono blue. It's not not something we haven't seen before, right?
hmm,
Should we go to the next deck?
sure. So next up is Instagram with Chrysalis Orange.
Ooh,
Yeah, this one is interesting. Or wait, hold up a second. I naively think Chrysalis Orange. Let me try to apply your philosophy here. Yes, this is Chrysalis Orange.
Yes. Is Golden Parachute colorless? No, it's not.
Not in this
This deck
deck,
can
no,
actually
it's
play
not.
it. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Although you probably uh, will be discarding it at least some of the time as well.
yeah.
Given that you have the burnt oak, the natural synergy card with Chrysalis, you benefit from having some cards of your own that you want to discard.
And I see some taxes.
I see lots of taxes.
Lots? I only see some taxes.
Well, I mean, there's Chrysalis herself, and then there's
Yes,
Spoons, and
yes,
then
and there's Stack.
Stack. Um, I mean,
Wake up call is kind of tax, I guess,
is
in a
that
way.
not lots? That's a lot, in my mind. I think. Like, I guess maybe
Well, it's just all of the Chrysalis decks I've seen so far go like full into tax dream, right?
technically
They like,
Pharynx
okay,
is showy as well.
yeah. But this deck is different, right? It's not. It doesn't go into full tax mode. It has some of the taxes, some of the like best ones, but the rest of the deck is not really about taxing, right?
Yeah, that's a fair way to say it, I suppose. I mean, you've got ways to protect your stack of suitcases in Rockhoof there,
Yeah.
and is Sans attacks? You could kind of. No, he's not. Is it really? It's just interference.
Mm, I mean, so is Horror Judge, right? And I mean, I would still count interference as a tax, just infinitely high tax.
Yes. Kind of. Yeah. It's basically the best of white. Really.
Mhm.
All
Yeah,
the.
looking at all these cards, like a lot of them say can't or cancel. Like most of the orange cards here are about not letting your opponent do stuff either, right? Rockhoof is to protect your resources. Limestone is to disable abilities. What else do we have here? We have Pharynx, which is an extra cancel effect.
You have Joe to prevent problem replacement.
Yes, a couple of things of white to take control of things. So yeah, basically, like whatever you're doing, you're not doing it.
Mhm.
I'm not
Uh,
letting you.
Changeling Throne to disable chaos abilities.
Yes. Oh, that's so much stuff.
Yeah, this is it's like the hardest control that doesn't have troublemakers I've seen in a long, long time.
hmm It doesn't even have that much removal, right? It's not like this deck is not about removing whatever your opponent is doing. This deck is about disabling whatever they're doing.
Hmm.
But the only removal here is taking control, right?
Pretty much, yeah. But let's see how it plays. How we play when I get to run real cards and your cards all have no text.
Yeah, we need a new game game mode where I'm playing a normal deck in a normal game, but you're playing family rules. Yeah, cool deck. I love control.
Absolutely, yeah. And we've all, I mean, we both been going on for a long time about how white needs a real deck.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like a real deck.
This looks
It
like the
has
kind of thing that
50 cards in it.
turn Chrysalis into a real competitor.
The one card that's interesting to me is social obligations. Like, are
Uh,
you going to win face-offs with your main character? Or is it just like an easy to confront problem?
let's see. Well, it is. See, is it easier to confront than most of the other stuff in here? Kind of, I guess. You have a lot of orange in this deck. 4 is less than most of the other stuff.
Like, I guess, I mean, there is a stick, right? But like, there's only two of them in the deck, and
Oh, there is a stick. Oh, okay. Fair enough.
yeah, yeah, it's hiding in the
Yeah.
end. So maybe it's just for stick, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, yeah, does help with that, I guess.
Hmm.
And it is like it's not your starting problem. You're going to start with uh Buckball probably.
Yeah.
So
Prism in the chat also points out sticks. So yeah, I guess it is for stick then. It's a pay one to score a point. Pretty good.
well, provided you win the face off. Which
But it's kind of hard to lose a stick face off. Like,
not impossible, but yes,
not impossible, no.
kind of hard.
Yeah, pretty cool list.
Yeah, absolutely. GP is saying he thinks that Chrissy Orange is well a top contender in core, not necessarily in harmony, but still, this looks pretty cool. And that wait, and this almost is a core list.
Yeah. I mean, you're losing like Horse Judge. You're losing. I mean, I don't think this deck needs pile in core.
Hmm.
uh,
All right,
Losing
stack.
social obligations,
Stack's a big loss. Yeah.
but other decks are losing a lot of things too. So what we need is a stack reprint, right? That's what I'm hearing.
Well, I mean, honestly, Burnt Out kind of is a stack reprint. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, it has like the same direction, kind of.
Pretty close. Alrighty.
Oh, you got it. I've got it. We have stack of mimics. At the start of the turn, choose events, resources, or troublemakers. For each card they play of that type, it increases the cost by one. Oh, by three, sorry, by three. It's mimics.
Oh yeah. Okay. I was sitting here expecting you to name some horribly broken card, and then you said by one, and I stopped like actually kind of not awful, but yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Power creep the card
Should
that
have been.
already got banned. I'm sure that's going to work out well
Yeah,
for you.
should have set three from the start. All right, next deck.
Next deck, last deck. This deck looks familiar.
Hmm.
It may be that we've seen something similar before. Missing
Yeah, a little bit.
uh, you know was running Selena before for the longest time. That was its biggest streak. Selena got banned. Very similar construction, just without her.
Mm-hmm.
Still works. Probably not quite as well, but still does does what needs to be done. Has enough card draw to find the answers you need when you need them,
Or I mean, gyro.
or gyro. When I look at this list, like it's tough not to see that it is this is tuned to perfection here. Knowing enough to keep that's just a singleton copy of Mare Mare. Or well, exactly two Doctor Who's. Unblinking is one example there. Like those are the Unblinking is the kind of card that you might consider putting 3 in of or something like that. Naively so, but someone who's spent a lot of time on the deck knows just 2 is all you need, right?
I'm curious. Like you mentioned, one of Mayor Mare. I wonder if the Middlebrook ban changes that. Like, I would imagine people don't run as many resources because of Middlebrook, right? Like you can't really see a purely resource-based decks anymore.
Mhm.
But if Middlebrook is banned, that could change, right?
That is kind of the intention, as I understand it.
So would this deck run more Mare after that? Is that the reason Mare is a singleton here?
Hang on a second here. Let me. Bugle actually gave me, or well, posted a revised version of it
Well, ban?
post ban. Yes.
Ooh, that's interesting because like this deck loses mimics as well.
Let me see. It was a post. Well, in this version at least, he's kept it just to the one mare.
Okay. So maybe
And
that doesn't affect it as much as I think it does.
although, I mean, this is clearly a preliminary thing. We'll see how much the meta does shift. Speaking of which, I don't know if there's much really to say about Bugle's list.
Oh, he changed mimics to Chrysalis. That's interesting.
But yeah, speaking of which, let me see if I can just go find the post that Commentaries Magic made. Stands in them. Or wait, no, it's just here.
It's documents updates.
Yep, I got it bookmarked. There we go. Just a bit, I guess. So yeah, this is largely what had been prior announced. Not a whole lot of uh, unexpected stuff here.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's exactly as it was announced, right? Not largely even.
Yeah, I don't remember if it had been uh, mentioned before that Chillax was only going to get banned in core,
Uh,
but
yeah, I guess not.
yeah. But in any event, for those who, I mean, I'm sure there's nobody here who wasn't there for the stream last week, but in any event, Mimics and Meadowbrook gone together because they are joined at the hip in their own
Yeah.
unfortunate way. Um, Featherbangs for making Living to Laugh too consistent, too easy, as honestly we kind of saw with that Apple Vendor deck. Um, Selena, because in core she's just as bad as she was in Harmony, basically. Chillax, because they were the major driving factor behind Pegasi being way better than all the other tribes, in essence.
Hmm.
And Ambassador of Friendship, because she was Vinyl's replacement and was serving in much the same role, and was arguably better even in certain contexts.
I mean, AT is better than cards because AT can turn into cards.
Hmm. Absolutely. And
And you get Meticulous as well.
yeah, in a world where she is not hard to flip, she is she is just better than Vinyl.
Yeah. Though, like, she's also banned an Odyssey block, which is an interesting change. It's not as easy to flip her in Odyssey block compared to Harmony, right? Because in Harmony you have Pinky Sense and you have Ancient Research. But in Odyssey, there's no immediate way to flip her. You have to find cards. But I don't think that many people play ODC block, so I don't think it matters that much.
Yeah.
And if we like we talked about like core plus format, well, in core plus format you would still have Pinky Sense, so it's all fair everywhere pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. In that hypothetical one, I'm almost certain that she would get banned as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. So as I kind of mentioned when I made the Tia post, like as far as core goes, this basically wipes out everything that people were doing competitively. There were very few decks that didn't have at least one of these cards in it. Basically,
Mm,
oh, go
I
on.
don't like. I don't agree that it completely wipes out things because all of these cards except Chillax, or I mean, okay, like I will not touch on Featherbanks for now, and I guess Selena too. Well, I'll touch Selena separately. But like Middlebrook and Mimics and Chillax were more over utility cards. Like I don't think there are decks that like, oh, if my deck doesn't have Middlebrook, my deck just doesn't work. So I think there are adjustments in the decks that can be made.
Okay.
But for like in case of Mimics, I guess some decks will just become weaker, which
Yeah,
is fair.
that's probably a fine clarification to make. I guess, yeah. Didn't mean to say this is destroying decks, but basically everyone was using at least one of these cards, is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, Selena ban might actually destroy some decks. I don't know.
um, yeah, that's a little bit trickier. Like those pink purple decks. I mean, she's used primarily just as a value generator, right? And there are
Yeah, but like that's the point of those decks, right? It's a value town, and they like those decks. They lose not only Selena but also Mimics on top of that. So it's interesting. Like overall, I'm pretty happy with the changes. Uh, Even though I like criticized them on the last time we discussed them, especially the coexistence of Middlebrook and Mimics, that like, oh, banning both of them won't change much. But I still think it's better without them than with them.
probably, and we'll see come. What's the next set? Is it 12 or 11 or
It's 13.
13? Right. One of the major issues that was brought up was that cards are kind of a impediment future set design. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see.
Yeah.
You know, Sim doesn't do reprints generally, so we're not going to get like a changeling mimics that's worth 2 points or something like that in the future.
I mean, we did get new Groger, which was kind of a reprint. It was well, it was errata, but not.
Right? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I expect that all of these, well, maybe not all of these cards, but at least some of these cards are going to be the subject of tongue-in-cheek references in
Yes,
in future sets, probably.
but I don't see them being reprinted like Mimics with 2 points. You're still playing with fire, I think.
Mhm.
Why do that? So yeah, we'll see. I don't know how much changes for Harmony. Like, I think this Harmony event didn't even have a single Middlebrook, right? Had some
Uh,
Mimics.
it did not. Had some mimics, had some featherbangs, had some ambassador twilight, clearly,
Yeah. But
which
I'm not sad about Featherbanks being gone in Harmony, though. Harmony has no shortage of combo decks.
very true, very true. And the living to laugh thing still exists. Just will perhaps be a little bit less consistent and a little slower.
Okay, so what we do next is we use Lyra main and put her into start side to mill through your deck as fast as possible.
Yeah, people already did that. Well, I guess we didn't use Lyra more than once. I don't think.
people will find a way.
Combo always finds a way. That is just always true.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that's everything that really needs to be said.
Yeah. Since we already discussed these changes and they are exactly as they were announced.
Hmm?
Don't think I have much more to comment.
Yeah. The changes will be like technically these cards are still legal. They'll be going into effect right before the next OnlineCon, I think.
Fifth, oh sorry, 7th of May.
Oh yeah, it's probably in this document anyway. Um, yeah, which I guess, well, yeah, come next OnlineCon, which I presume will probably be a core event. I don't think it's been announced yet. Uh, we shall see what things end up looking like.
Yeah,
Should probably be a much more diverse, a very diverse meta, hopefully.
hopefully, you never know. I think the next tournament after the ban set will be diverse for sure because people try out things at least. I don't think people will solve the meta in 1 month,
Of course not.
but we'll see what happens eventually.
All right. And with that, I think we are at the end of our rope for today.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, very sorry for the late start. We'll have that rectified for next time.
It's okay. It's what we've been late once in the last 4 years.
I mean, I feel like we were probably late at least once before.
Not on my memory.
Fair enough. We'll go with that then. Um, if you want to see any of our previous streams or um, catch this one after I upload it, there's a YouTube channel right there. If you want to get notified whenever we do another one, you feel free to subscribe. Our next stream, I guess we haven't worked out exactly what we're going to be talking about yet, but we will. It'll be 2 weeks from now, which I guess that's May 1st.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay. Otherwise, thank you all for watching and commenting. I have been Chrysalis,
I've been Hifrock.
and we'll see you in a fortnight.
Bye.